Welcome back to MLG here in Columbus, Ohio. Tastes and Artosis from Seoul, Korea. Casters in the GSL down here in the States because esports is growing everywhere.
That's right, and we brought one of the GSL players with us. Polt is here, in fact, a GSL champion, but that didn't stop Sheth. Sheth took him out in that first game with brilliant strategies, but Polt fought back under circumstances that I thought it would be impossible to do.
All right, we are just getting confirmation that the players are ready, and we will get this game underway. So, it looks like we're almost ready. Polt, one of the best Korean players in the world. Sheth, one of the best non-Korean players. The non-Koreans with the Koreans, always a little bit of a rivalry. So it looks like we are ready to go, and we will start this game. And
right.
it's going to be pretty sick. Sheth actually up one game. I expected Polt to be the victor here, so it was pretty impressive. So far, I don't really know what Polt has planned, but we're going to see soon. Polt, I think, a little bit too aggressive on the map. This time probably wants to be a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, Sheth knows his style, no doubt about that. Well, we are in the game. Time to take a look-see at that, and I have just so much to say.
Artosis, you want to intro the players?
I would love to, Tasteless.
Do it. Do it, man.
All right. Well, up here on Antigua Shipyard in the top right, we have a player actually sponsored by Tasteless and myself on the team TSL from thehandsomernerd.com. It is none other than TSL Polt. Oh, you're good.
I'm adding some sound effects to this.
Just like that.
We're mixing it up. Okay.
In the bottom left, I'm introing him too.
Yeah, you're doing it.
You get out of here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
A good friend of Tasteless and mine, an amazing Zerg player from America, one of the most underrated players in the world. It is LiquidSheth.
That's right.
Of course, from TeamLiquid.net, a great site.
Yeah,
for
great
StarCraft
site.
2. If you're just getting into StarCraft 2, you may want to check it out. Oh, and we have a quick little pause.
Uh-oh, looks like there's a problem with the keyboard desk. I'm sure we'll get that resolved soon.
Yeah,
obviously, we want
okay, I'll explain what's going on here.
Go ahead,
basically, Sheth. 1 second, guys.
Yep, hold on, guys. We have some rules here. We have to count down, and we can resume the game. He had to adjust his desk, of course.
Yeah, so
we want the players in the best possible conditions so that they can actually perform here.
So basically, Sheth plays with his keyboard on his lap instead of on the desk, and he was a bit too close to the desk, and so that's why plus was typed as well. He just moved his knee and his keyboard hit the desk. So you got to be careful about that. Of course, you're going to ask yourself, why does he play with his keyboard on his lap? I know, I ask him that all the time, but the actual reason is, of course, you guys know, you live with your family, a lot of you, I'm sure, and you just have like a computer desk setup that is not optimal for gaming.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Oh no, here, I'll show you. Just
actually,
we're
on Sheth's vids, and I was like, oh my God, Polt is not on the map.
Okay, so back to what we were saying here.
So as you can see here, Polt's gonna go for a wall in here. And yeah, I mean, if you play, you live with your family, you got a loud keyboard. Yeah, keeping that under the desk can be make it a little bit
some
quieter.
desks just aren't good, man. It's some people have bad desks in their house. No, not everyone has a gaming desk. So
yeah,
that's why. And he got used to it. He became an amazing player in StarCraft 1. Very used to it, and then finally, he just stayed with it, with what he was comfortable with, which is important.
Yeah, every player has their different little quirks, when playing the games. It's interesting to see there's no real, I guess there's a lot of wrong ways to play StarCraft, but there's really no one right way as far as mechanics go.
Well, right now, Polt actually got a gas. Sheth did scout it, and it looks like he's just going to go Reactor to Hellion again. Another good map for it. I would say maybe not as good as Daybreak for this build, but still a very good map for it.
This is a map where the third base for the Zerg is a little bit easier to acquire.
Yeah. And you want to slow that down as much as you can. So, Antigua, this map, the fourth base is going to be the point of contention. If the game goes somewhat normally, the fourth base is pretty hard for Zerg to get. Where do you really take your fourth? Do you take it at another base's third area? Do you take it in the center? Do you take it at another main? Maybe even another natural?
No, absolutely. And of course, for the Terran, they have to take this as their fourth.
Yeah.
No. And, the danger for that is that Smart players are going to tech to Broodlords. They're going to use this high ground terrain to push that.
Yes.
The surface area here at the ramps to control. With the Broodlings, you being able to get up there and stop the Broodlords. So it's something they're both aware of. We're going to see if we get to that point in time in this game, but it's a very interesting factor to add in.
And you know what's interesting? Any game that goes late on Antigua Shipyard, that middle area is normally where the deciding battles always happen.
Oh yeah.
It's such important terrain with the watchtower, the high ground over 2 expansions.
Yeah, it's definitely a map where we're going to have to, if it does get to the late game, the center is going to be a focal point. Absolutely. It's also a map where I think both races, again, can't really acquire the other main. Yeah, almost no matter what.
If you take another main here, basically the mobility of your opponent can go up there and just snipe it before you can go to defend. So that's definitely something that's a very risky thing to do. You have to have a lot of map control to be able to do something like that.
Well, the Hellions are now moving out, and of course their job is to deny creep.
Yep.
As we can see here, this next creep tumor, he wants to make sure it does not come out, and that's why the Queen is going to be here trying to drive out these Hellions. You got to be careful. Do not want to lose that Queen early on.
Oh yeah, that would be just a terrible loss if he did. He needs it to lay those creep tumors and to help out a little bit with defense as well. Now, Polt is actually doing the same build as last game so far. You know, just reactor to Hellion, get your command center, start your stim nice and early, and it's a safe build. And it looks like Sheth suddenly is going for the same style as before. He's got a lot of Zerglings that he's taken out. And with a lot of Zerglings, of course, like we saw last game, he chased those Hellions away, and in fact, oh, he lost that creep tumor. A little bit messy there.
Looks like this Overlord will be here to spot, and yes, can confirm that the command center is there. Sheth smartly pulls the Overlord back a little bit so we can monitor the minerals that are going to be mined here. It's a good way to tell if there's been a transfer, or, you know, let's say you get to the very, very end game, how much time you actually, you know, have before they get mined out.
Yeah. Well, it looks like just the same exact strategy as before for Sheth. Look at this. He's got his extra hatchery going up. He's got at least 1 Evo. Let me check real quick. Yeah, he has double evolution chamber once again, getting a lot of drones. Of course, he wants to get his economy up before he starts massling production, but it really does look like he's going to go for that massling again. And in fact, 1-1 on the way for those Zerglings. And you know what? It worked last time, and it could have worked you know, even better if Polt's late game wasn't just so fierce. But look at this, going home with his Hellions. It feels to me like Polt has a very good idea of what's going on.
Well, you know, to some degree, Polt has been tamed here by Sheth.
That's a good way to put it.
He's not allowed to just move around the map freely. Sheth is basically shown in game number 1, no, if you move around the map too much, I will just stop economy and go into attack mode.
Yeah. So Sheth is doing exactly the same thing as before. Really cool that this is kind of a new strategy, a new style of this matchup that Sheth seems to be very comfortable and confident in. Now, of course, if Polt ends up losing this, he is not out of this tournament. He simply goes to loser bracket. But right now, people are so close to getting into that pool play. And if you get into pool play, you are going to finish so high in this tournament no matter what. So a very crucial game for Polt here.
Absolutely. We have some center control here for Polt here with the Hellions. And again, he's going to have to be careful because, you know what, I thought, as I said before, Polt had been tamed, but I guess I was wrong. Polt's now moving out on the map.
Style, man. Yeah.
He was defensive for maybe a minute. Now he's out and about. He's got to be very careful. If he loses this, Zerg gets to 4th base even very easily, and it's bad news.
Oh, and he's going to want to pick up those Marines, or they will, in fact, go down. Sheth ends up killing a few of them, but the Hellions do come back. Now, the one thing we do have to point out is that, well, yeah, he is getting another command center. But one very important thing is that last time in this situation, Sheth did a counterattack that killed 14 SCVs. That hasn't happened this game. So Polt's in much better shape.
He managed to get the Queen there as well. The Hellions, though, surrounded, and not enough room in those medevacs to pick them up. I don't believe that attack was worth it, losing the Queen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Polt lost too much.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Sheth wants to do a counterattack here. Killing those Hellions off does give him that opportunity. Will he go ahead and make some Banelings to bust through there? We'll see in a second.
We got a drop over here at the expansion. Some Lings coming isn't enough. The surface area surrounds pretty damn good. but it looks like the Marines will barely not come out on top here.
Yeah, and more Zerglings come down to defend as well. But that was a nice drop. It was a good try by Polt. He didn't really lose that much, and he stopped any potential counterattacks. Now his siege mode is almost done. He's in a very safe and good position. I think that Sheth was going to do a little miniature bust on the front there. So that was actually a really nice diversion by Polt. Polt is in much better shape than he was last game against Sheth. And that actually makes me scared because Polt almost came back last game against Sheth.
I know, no kidding. The supplies are pretty even, about a 10 supply difference, not too impactful. Zerg, let's check here at the unit counter. It's 75 drones to 53 SCVs, so
yeah.
You know, when you consider mules are a factor, it's fairly even economically.
Yeah, especially as he lands his command center. He's going to have the same amount of mineral patches, plus those extra mules. Not quite as many miners, though. But again, Sheth going exactly the same strategy this game. Polt going exactly the same strategy, but without that economic loss. So remember last game, Tasteless, Polt suddenly jumped ahead in supply over Sheth.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to do that again, but he's going to have more economy to back that up. And, oh, we finally do have a little difference. We have drops on the way for Sheth this game.
Oh, good point. I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah, drops going to be a huge factor here. Ling's coming up here to try to surround, but, well, that's the most unlucky Marine in this game. But for the most part, everything manages to get out there. It does look as though Sheth will destroy the rocks over here, giving him some ability to counterattack. And if he does destroy this, what's interesting is then he can drop here and at the same time counterattack with a clear path up to the third base. So that may play a huge role coming up here.
Exactly. And the fourth base from Sheth going up. You remember, as we said before, it's really hard for Zerg to take and hold an additional base here. In fact, he's killing the rocks there at his new fourth, and that's really smart because he needs to be able to get up there and have a lot of surface area on any attacks that come into that area. Now, we do have a Spire Ultralisk Cavern and 6 Infestors on the way. Sheth just kind of going for everything at once, and in fact taking an expansion in the middle as well. Now, Polt is up at this magical supply number. He's up at 160 plus, and he is going to move out pretty soon here. He's getting a few more units out, and we're going to see a huge push start. So Sheth has to be ready for that.
The rocks are gone. In fact, Polt really with nothing even in position to try to prevent that. And we see a few Lings in here taking a peek, seeing, okay, clearly the Terran does have a very fearsome army. Now, I think we're about maybe a minute away from Terran pushing out.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, can he kill this, and this? Generally in a Terran versus Zerg, if the Zerg is this spread out, you just want to go straight towards the main as quickly as possible, kill off anything in their path, try to destroy that hive. That resets their tech tree and basically knocks them back into the Stone Age.
Yeah, and the reason why Sheth is taking bases everywhere is because he figures that some must survive.
Oh, we got a drop!
The second he moves out, Sheth goes for a gigantic drop here. These are really well upgraded Zerglings, but he is running back. He's stimmed his units. He's coming back in here to clean it up. A lot of damage being done to the economy in the main, but is that enough? Thing is, these Zerglings aren't really worth that much to Sheth. He's just making a ton more right behind it, filling his supply back
smart.
up.
He just turns right around, picks up, and says, I have the opportunity to drop once again. Meanwhile, the gases have been taken here. They're not being utilized yet, but I'm sure they will be soon. This expansion completed. Drones may or may not be going there depending on this position, but and this expansion is done. So right now, I have to say, I do not see Polt winning this unless he has a very powerful push that's going to force his way all the way across the map.
And, we have an Infestor coming up here. An Infestor attack. A lot of Infested Terrans going up. Beautiful moves here by Sheth. Polt out of position for that. A lot of SCVs will end up going down, but he does have the Marines come up and make sure that at least his orbital doesn't die.
Meanwhile, it looks like Polt persevering, taking the center location. But the real question is, has Sheth gone too far? Is there any way for Polt to actually recover? Another drop. I can barely keep up with my observing here. Another drop over here inside of Polt's main. And Polt has basically deemed it. It's time. I can't hold back anymore. I have to push, and I have to push hard.
He is right, Tasteless. We have Ultras on the way, as well as some Infestors. And, well, Actually, I think his ultras are stuck somewhere.
Are they?
Oh wait, no.
No.
The bar is broken, I guess. Oh wait, no, they were stuck. Those things were done forever. Okay, anyways, cleans this up, and the Greater Spire is finishing. So Polt is on a clock again, but another drop in the main base of Polt here. Very nice moves by Sheth. Polt is being dragged all around the map right now, and this is actually too much for him to handle.
Yeah, I mean, although he got this hatchery, so what? That was more of a positional thing than an economic thing. Economy right now for Sheth out of control. The command center lifted for the drop here, continuing to do too much damage. I don't know if Polt can save this game for too much longer.
Yeah, man, he is just being dragged everywhere. He never got to do his huge max push. As far as he got was the center to kill off one of the hatcheries with no drones at it. Meanwhile, Sheth is up on 5 bases. Polt is mining only from his natural right now.
And the natural is, of course, almost mined out, as this Overlord that's been back here this entire time monitoring it could tell Sheth now. He's going to have to try to get this planetary up and keep it up here. The siege tank count is also very important. If he loses all these siege tanks, the game is effectively over.
That's right, he's going for another base, but Broodlords are on the way. And in fact, he looks like he wants to go over and kill this base. A smart move indeed. The Broodlords are very slow, so Sheth might end up losing, these 2 extra expansions, but in that time, Polt is barely mining, the Broodlords are out, and Sheth can start making huge and strong moves. In fact, the Broodlord army is coming up here, Tasteless.
Here come the Broodlords now. I do believe they actually will save this expansion as well. Yeah, the Broodlords coming down here. Now remember, they're in siege mode. The siege tanks are. They need to get out of there. Every siege tank lost is huge. Fungals coming down as well.
Big
Sheth manages to save the expansion in the center left location.
Wow, just everything for Polt falling apart at this point. He is down by over 60 supply.
He's falling a Polt.
He is fine. He's falling a Polt.
He's falling a Polt as we speak.
He's getting Sheth, man, and it is a beautiful thing to see from Sheth. But has he overcommitted here with these Broodlords? A lot of units coming in, and as the funnel throws wear off, he may be able to kill off the Broods. And
I
that
think
is
he overextended, actually.
Yeah, it looks
he
like
did.
it. But
oh, wow, that's a huge mistake.
Is Sheth too far ahead for this to actually make a difference? I think maybe, because it's 89 supply to 142,
yeah,
which is craziness.
Also note this expansion, the location's there, but it's not really being utilized. So, yeah, that's great. It looks good on the mini-map, but as far as economics go, it's not going to be that helpful.
Well, Sheth right now still has a healthy drone count up at 70 against just 32 SCVs, but 8 mules out right now, so his income is still really quite great. Now, let's see here. It looks like Sheth is just going to make another good army and then start attacking. Oh my god, he just broke an Ultralisk. We saw that, guys.
Okay, we've casted one of our first games of the World Ultralisks.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
That does not happen too often.
Looks like we have a drop going towards the main base.
It's a fake.
It's a fake.
It's a fake. He wants to see it. Will the army turn around? He's trying to trick him.
You should just put a few Zerglings in there. Should have been a real drop, I guess.
That was anticlimactic. Nothing happened. Okay. So, if I were Sheth this point in time, I'm going to put the Banelings and just try to blow up this.
Yeah, it looks like he just wants to go ahead and use these Broodlords to stop the mining there at the minimum.
Yeah.
Polt still has a decent army, but again, he's down 65 supply right now. So Sheth should be able to just run over these things. Of course, the planetary is the most important part of this map right now. If he loses that, the game is 100% over.
Okay, the angle here actually for Polt is pretty impressive considering the geography of this map and the situation right now. Nice transfusions there on the Broodlords. It just takes 3 to push the whole army back. But is he overextending? He needs to get back over to the high ground area. Another beautiful transfusion.
Yeah, he is transfusing left and right here with
I'm going to get a
queens.
quick shot real fast. This expansion, again, not being used, so really losing this base is huge.
That is so true, but Polt is holding on for dear life. Unfortunately, he is down by 100 supply now. Sheth just making unit after unit after unit, sending them forward, but Polt is not giving up. This is some great control. Look at this. Microing on 2 fronts here, on 2 sides, but Zerglings are absolutely everywhere.
I can barely keep up with all the action that is going on right now in the center location on the map. Now it looks like at this point in time, the planetary will go down, as will Polt.
Wow.
GG, one of the best Korean Terrans, actually one of the best Terran players in the world, defeated by Sheth.
Absolutely amazing play by LiquidSheth. I mean, I hear the crowd going wild right now because this is a big deal for Sheth to take down someone. Polt has been just winning everything recently. This great play by
He was
Sheth.
basically
Awesome
the
strategies.
favorite out of everybody in the open bracket.
Yeah. Everyone was talking about it, man. We were all talking about how Polt's going to come
He's not out of
through.
the tournament, by the way.
Oh, no, he's in the loser bracket.
But that is like hell if you're an MLG. That's so many more games to go through.
Yeah.
So,
it's
can
crazy
Polt make
stuff,
it to the open bracket? I don't know. We're going to have to see. That game, though, was a real treat. If you want to support Polt, buy TSL shirts at thehandsоменerd.com. We are going to go to a little break, but stay tuned. Keep watching the other streams because we got a lot more StarCraft 2 action coming up here at MLG in Columbus, Ohio.